escape a problem is to solve it.
The Riddick universe is close to the way we live right now. It's machinery, not energy effects and all these fancy things.
It's none of the glam of space and the future, it's just the underbelly. We try to create a fresh blend. That's part of our experience as artists ourselves, and part of it is the Riddick universe, and we try to build on that. We're all very dedicated to quality, so there are a lot of iterations on pretty much any asset you see in the game. The look of the Dark Athena started with the idea of being inside the belly of a deep-sea creature. We tried to create our textures and all our surroundings based on that, and try to put that into as many elements of the game as possible, so you can see it in the armor of the characters that you encounter, the nanomed health system that we have, also the main antagonist, Rivas. We designed her to be as fierce and as believable as possible.
Good man once, but not anymore.
It's all about the contrast between light and shadow, machine-like creatures versus human-like creatures. Everything plays off the idea that this should be a terrible place to be in and you want to get out.
Reaching the next level of visual quality, it's always a million different factors and you have to improve on all of them. For example, all the tools that we develop for cinematics and stuff are crossing over into gameplay. Things like depth of field, not just having it, but actually controlling it properly, adds a lot to making it look a bit more cinematic.
There are a lot of layers of what's going on with color correction, with grain. We use stencil light, and then we compensate that a little bit with glow and other things to smooth things out. But the end result is something that's very different from any of these parts.
How long have you been here?
We have a really strong cast. Vin Diesel, of course, Exhibit, Michelle Forbes is there, we have Lance Henriksen.
Riddick, get in there ASAP and I'll lock the door for you.
Morgan Shepard, Ron Perlman.
You've got a hearing problem.
And we really feel that they bring something special to the game.
So we've developed this method that we call vocap, which is the simultaneous capture of facial animation, body and voice.
You're in no position to negotiate.
It allows us to capture the whole performance. You'll have not only one of the most lifelike representations of a performance within a game, you'll also have the exact same performance that the actor delivered.
Talk to me.
This time we've really taken it to the limit with both voice acting and the overall music. Just walking around, listening to the inmates screaming, the soundscape really creates tension for the game. You can essentially just stand around listening to it and go like, whoa, this is a scary place.
The monsters. They'll catch me.
Just start the game and listen to Vin Diesel's voiceover.
Now the monsters have something to fear.
So that is something really special, that voice. And his narrative carries the whole first-person experience forward. You really know what you're gonna do. You really are motivated.
When his voice came in there, it felt like, yeah, this is it.
I'm either doing or I'm not.
When we release this game now, it's going to be the by far most polished game we ever made.
They say hope begins in the dark, but most just flail around in the blackness. For me, the darkness is where I shine.
When we make games, we want to make a story that attaches the player to the game. That's part of our design philosophy.
Riddick.
So no drone shot for this.
We see Dark Athena as a next chapter in the saga about Riddick.
The Iguaran system, full of desperate suckers who couldn't make it anywhere else.
The Dark Athena is a mercenary ship captained by Captain Rivas.
I remember you.
And Riddick is captured by this ship straight after Butcher Bay. Now he's all alone there on the ship, trying to find a way to get out of the ship because he's caught again.
The first enemy we decided to add to Dark Athena was the Merc. They roam the universe and look for criminals to sell to prisons.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
But the most significant enemy in the game is the drone.
This is what the Dark Athena is manufacturing. They're creating these creatures out of captives. This character gives us a lot of different ways of adding gameplay mechanics because it's basically a cyborg that operates on an AI, which is very stupid, but it can also be controlled. So when they're controlled by mercs, they look turned on with white lights. They fight a lot better. When they're in AI control mode, they get red lights, so stupid. They're not very attentive. You can pretty easily take them out. It has his gun attached to its right arm. So we prevent Riddick from getting its gun and instead has to use the character. So he lifts up the drone and uses the gun attached, but with very limited mobility. During some parts of the game, you can actually get in and enter a ghost drone and use that as you progress through the game.
And you can also drag the body to a drone and throw the body to certain locations and then fire the gun from that location. You can also use the drone as a human shield. What this does is not just prevent the player from retrieving a weapon, it's also the more variations of gameplay in the stealth and the close combat areas that we have in the game, so that we actually can get some action in those areas as well.
We try to make the game behave as though you would behave in real life. If you encounter a room and you have enemies in there, you may choose to want to sneak around them, or you may charge in, guns blazing. And we wanted to give options to the player that would accommodate those desires. And we also wanted character interactions. So if you saw someone, they weren't just a person in the background with no purpose or personality. They were a character that you could interact with.
What have you done with him?
It's not bound by arbitrary rules.
It provides so much variation in gameplay as well. You can go from one area and you have some adventure, side mission, you go talk to people, and then you are in an intense close combat fight. And then you have to move into another section and you are blasting away with guns.
You want the player to experience these ups and downs. And we have surprises around the corner. You won't know what the next level is going to bring you. There are pieces for everyone. If you like action games or stealth games, you're going to love this one.
I sleep for hours, days, weeks, and when I finally awake, I'm still a creature of the dark.
Riddick's always been tightly connected to Starbreeze. We had done a few games before that, but Riddick came out and lifted Starbreeze from being a pretty unknown developer to being a world-known developer. So we feel very tightly connected to this brand and franchise. It fits our mood, fits our style of gameplay. We want to make games that the player feels like I'm actually part of this.
Fishback made a pretty big impact because it was a strong character and it was a sci-fi movie that was kind of a bit different. It wasn't that high sci-fi. It was a little bit more gritty and low tech.
And it's really down to earth. Everything looks like it has been in use for a long time and that it can take a lot of punishment. It's very hardcore.
Dealing with that, my approval.
Riddick is a lone wolf. He's doing his own thing. You don't know why. And that's kind of intriguing. I think that's something that most players want to know more about, but we haven't told more about it. We had this unique blend with stealth, action, storytelling, a little RPG even. It was an emotional roller coaster. Suddenly you had a weapon, you was running around, gunning everyone, and then you got caught. Then you're back trying to sneak around, and I gotta get a weapon again.
People really liked it, and word of mouth spread, and a lot of people have played it, but it's not backwards compatible on the 360. And we had this opportunity to release it again, maybe, higher resolution, add a few textures, and address all of these niggling issues. Not only because our hardware is better, we can add a lot more geometry. We also learned a lot of things over the years that we can apply now.
It feels like going back to something that was in a very good shape and adding extra love. So we've gone through all levels, redetailed them, made them look better. So for players that hasn't played Butcher Bay, it's a game that looks 2009. And for the players that have played Butcher Bay back in the day, it's gonna be worth a revisit because we have done a lot there. We first thought about extending the Butcher Bay campaign a bit more, but then realized that that would feel tacked on, so we started instead with a small chapter at the end, just a few levels. As the project progressed, we felt that we want to add more to this. Then we were up to 3-4 hours playtime, and we felt that we need more. We need more again. Luckily, we hadn't recorded story, we hadn't cast characters for the roles, so we were pretty free to expand the story and jam in more content there.
The Dark Athena took off from there and became something really big.
We see Dark Athena as a next chapter in the saga about Riddick.
We have built upon the last game, of course. Everything that we have worked on for Athena, every AI improvement, the Riddick character, movement, navigation, everything, it's really impressive.
Seeing all these things that we've learned over the years and tying that into a cohesive whole. Not only strengthens the old game, but we have this new game that's really cool. That's really exciting.
When we create a level, that's Starbreeze. You know, sometimes we have a pretty open space on the whiteboard. You have your pen, and you just walk up to the whiteboard and you need something there, and you do some curvy figures or some round figures. And eventually that actually ends up being something.
And that this will be tend to be slavishly copied and made into a level. No, this is not part of the level. It's just something I doodled. Ah, okay, sorry, but we made it into a pillar somewhere.
Denied. Stand by for identification. An officer will be with you shortly.
A lot of iterations of the card here.
Yeah, we did some things as well where we moved crates tiny amounts just to move the shadows so that there was a shadowy path all the way in the direction we wanted the player to take. So there were a lot of things where we moved light sources or boxes small amount just to move the shadows.
Just one? What a waste of fuel. He better be worth it.
John, should have cracked the hull and watched it vomit lungs.
Oh, Spinner, hon, you got a thick skull sometimes, don't you? John's a merc just like you and me, and when a merc turns into a most wanted, I shoot sky high.
The initial thought from creating these scenarios in Card Bay, I think it was to get some variations in gameplay and different paths for the player. We didn't have that much of that in Butcher Bay.
There are many ways to do this particular level where you can jump on the boxes and you can have the sneak around and have the drone shoot each other, and you can do it entirely sneaky. And I believe there is an achievement you can get from or a trophy from not being detected at all in the upper and lower level, which is really hard to do.
it's any consolation.
Lieutenant, you have my permission to shoot him like the fucking rat he is.
But Captain, even Spinner couldn't...
Or the dentist. Your choice.
My name is Carl Wickman, and I'm the audio director at Starbreeze, and I'm here to talk about the sounds for the new Riddick game and our new Starbreeze sound engine. The Starbreeze sound department is extremely competent. Every single sound in the game is designed in-house by our sound designers. We use an extensive, specially recorded library, and between us we got about 30 years of experience doing this. Our senior sound designer here, Johan Altop, is working on the sounds for the spider turret, enemy that you'll encounter in the second part of the new Athena game. When we were asked to revisit the old Butcher Bay game, we were really grateful to get a chance to get back to it and really revamp the sounds, and we went back and rescored and reorchestrated all the music. Everything is new. And all the stuff we done for the Dark Athena, like introducing a sound engine and working our environmental effects and stuff like that, it's also bled over to Escape from Butcher Bay. So in essence, it's a completely new experience really that connects to the old one, but presented now in high definition for a next-gen format.
You're always trying to ruin my paydays, Riddick. You're always trying to ruin my paydays, Riddick.
Okay, let's get him. This is Aquila territory. You don't belong here. Okay, let's get him. This is Aquila territory. You don't belong here.